Hello, women's wellness community. I am your host, Lucy Coutinho, joined by my lovely co host, Nahal Horn. Today, we have a very interesting topic for you. It's about making friends while an adult, with
Mhm.
families, work, just all the responsibilities that we hold, and also trying to cultivate and create space for that. So, I'm very excited to have this powwow today. And so we're just going to offer our personal experiences, some of the challenges being over 40 and maintaining these friendships and possibly making new friends, right, as we navigate this life journey, right? So, Nahal, what do you think?
What do I think? I have so many thoughts about, first of all, meeting friends, after a certain age and then maintaining them. For me, I have friends, that I've been friends with since high school. I just had lunch with one of my best friends from high school,
Hmm.
26, 27-year friendship. Um, and then meeting new ones, it's just such a different vibe. I don't know if you feel the same. Like when you spend time with someone you knew as a 15-year-old,
Yeah,
there's just so much history and so much shared like good times and lightness that
right.
we talked about heavy things for the first 20, 30 minutes, like life, like life. We all have kids now, we're married, and then we left off laughing about just random things that brought us joy, like we used to do as teenagers. So
It's wonderful. So
yeah.
is this something you do often? Like, do you connect consistently? Do you have like, oh, we have these dates set
I,
up?
I wish I could say we had dates set up. I hadn't seen her since, I don't know, maybe 3 months. She just had a baby, so maybe we see each other once every couple months, but we'll text every other week or just to check in. And as we've gotten busier, it's become less and less where we see each other. But when in our 20s, there was a time where we would meet every week.
That's really good. And I know it becomes more of a challenge as you have family obligations and children. But I
Yeah,
also do feel like it's important to keep connections with friends, checking in on friends, because I
hmm,
also do notice that we are very isolated as a society. This
absolutely.
is the most isolated we've ever been.
Yeah,
So we never do know how lonely a person may be feeling or how they
yeah,
may be needing that human connection, right? So um, at a couple of months ago, I started this trend where I wish I would have continued it, but
hmm,
I would I made this intention where every week I would pick a friend or a few friends to check in on, whether
oh, I love
via
that.
text or just to shoot them a message saying, "Hey, I'm thinking of you. I hope all is well, and let's schedule a time to chat
Yeah.
if we can." So I try to do that. Not the greatest at it, to be quite honest, lately. We just get so consumed in our own lives, in our own
And
world,
busy.
that we're very busy. Everyone is busy.
Yeah,
But I also think it's something that we need to schedule into our busyness, right? So,
totally.
yeah.
I mean, I love that you had that intention, and I hope you continue it because there's nothing more refreshing and healing than talking to a friend. Like women, especially, we're so good at sharing our thoughts and feelings. I feel really bad for guys because I've heard from guys how lonely they feel, how hard it is to connect with their peers or their friends because guys don't talk about their feelings or what they're going through. Like they just compartmentalize that, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it is a blessing to be able to have these friendships where you can unpack and share emotions, feelings, and whatever it is that you're going through. Like you and I have a
yeah,
real life friendship experience with one another. We've known each other for decades.
I know. I want to say, how long has it been now?
It's been a couple of decades at the very
Oh
least.
my
So, yes, not trying to date ourselves,
I
but
know. I'm like, wait, Lucy, we're 29. What are you talking about?
so let me ask you this. What do you think has been the secret for us in maintaining this friendship and
That's a
nourishing
really
um, this friendship?
I love that question, Lucy. Now, when I think about it, I think because of the love and the patience and support and just complete acceptance of where I'm at in life. There's been times where we didn't talk for months and months and months, but then when we reconnected, it was like no time had passed, and there was no why didn't you call me? Why did you forget about me? It was just complete acceptance, and you know just the patience and love you've always put into our friendship, and just how you always listen with a loving ear, and you've always been that wise sister friend. And I feel like we've been able to share things that we can't share with day-to-day conversations. Like it's not like next door neighbor talk. It's deeper, and you have such a curiosity for life and human beings and growing and spiritual, mental, physical growth. I think we've shared so many things in commons that we love and we hold dear to our hearts, that when we do open up and connect, we could just continue talking and talking and talking because of so many shared um, interests and beliefs. Does that make sense?
Wow, yeah, I do agree with that. And same for me. If you were to ask me that question, I definitely feel the same. It's like when you find someone who gets you and
Yeah.
understands your inner wiring, if you will, like
Yes.
it's just this language that we speak that it doesn't require a lot of explanation. It's like,
Yes.
okay, Paul, I'm feeling this, and this is, and you do such a good job at calming me down and
Oh,
asking
you too.
all of the right questions where I'm like,
With you.
I'm breathing again. So
I
I do
know.
that because I
You're
do.
gonna make me tear up. Oh my gosh. It has been so healing to have our
Yeah.
friendship bloom over the decades.
Yeah, it's like we give each other therapy sessions, and sometimes we're not even aware that we're actually doing it. And
Yes.
so we hold that space with acceptance, and I love that you use that word because that to me is everything in a friendship and a connection is to feel completely accepted and safe where you can there's this quote that I came up with is
Yeah.
um, it's safe to be your entire self, right? So,
Mm.
and our friendship, when I think about our friendship, that's exactly what I feel. I feel like it's a safe space where I can be my entire
Same.
self and not feel judged or not feel kind of
Absolutely.
crazy. So, and alone too. So, and we live distance apart in terms of our
Mm.
geography, our location, and it's still we have still been able to maintain this friendship and this bond. So I'm really grateful for that. And I also wanted to ask you, what would be your advice and suggestion to other people, other women trying to cultivate that kind of like that sisterhood, that relationship that becomes a little more challenging as we get older with more responsibilities and family and children and things like that.
That's a really good question. So, are you talking about like when you meet new people, like new friendships?
So let's start with new friendships first.
Okay. This is a really good question, because, at each stage in life, there are new people that come into your life, right? And then having the gift of discernment really is just taking your time. I feel like sometimes you click with someone right away and you just feel lightness and you just feel good with them, but sometimes our bodies may constrict and we don't feel like we could fully express ourselves the way we want to around certain people. So maybe they're not your people, maybe they're good acquaintances, but the people that you know are your people, you'll feel a sense of being alive, being able to express your full self, right? You'll feel like no, like your body will feel that lightness. I don't know how to explain it, but there won't be any like heaviness or stress, um, or oh, I don't want to offend this person by saying this. Do you know what I mean? There'll be like a
Yes.
full, comfortable, I don't know, warmth maybe between the new person, and also being able to take your time. right? There's no need to rush into a bestie relationship or friendship.
Right.
Like some of the best friends I've made, it was a slow process where we got to know each other and little by little we became closer, right? I think
Yes.
because that is how you create a deep bond, right? Or maybe you just want to be someone who goes to Pilates together or grabs a cup of coffee and you just chit chat about the latest whatever's going on in your neighborhood. And that's fine. That's a great acquaintance, but that is not like a friend. You know, there's like different levels of acquaintance, friend, sister, right? There's like
Yeah, and I
different.
do feel like that's really great that you broke it down to those categories, right? Because there are different categories of connection, or like we don't have to rush into labeling someone, oh, that's my friend. Because saying that, I mean, that's a really hefty title, right? It comes with so much. It comes with consistency, it comes
Yes.
with safety, it comes with trust.
Yeah.
So we really have to use our discernment and our
Hmm.
intuition, because as you're talking about when we meet people and all those feelings within our bodies, and how do they make us feel elevated and energized, or do we leave a conversation feeling depleted, right? So I think all those little things, paying attention to that, that comes from our intuition, our inner
Yeah.
knowing. And as women, we kind of ignore that sometimes because we want to be kind, we want to be polite, and all these societal expectations of us, right? So,
Right.
but as self preservation and protection, and wisdom too, honestly, is to pay attention to those little nudges and bodily feelings, because it's
Mhm.
real. You know, it's really real. They say you can't, energy is something you cannot fake, and I believe that, right?
I
So it's
believe that
something that
too.
you can't just switch on and off, and it's, yeah. So I would say that's a big thing. And categorizing your connections, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
we might meet some people who are great to go to Pilates class with, and it's fun, or we meet for over coffee and we have
Mhm.
casual conversations. But there are those people that we call on the phone and cry with, and
Mhm.
or invite over to our homes and have around our families and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's fine too. They're all connections, but we have to be honest and realistic about what we're expecting, right? So that way there's no disappointment, there's no like confusion. Um, so I do love
Exactly. I
that. Yeah.
love that. Oh
Yes.
man, there's so much to.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how I talk to my daughter about this because she's navigating friendships as a 6.5 year old and learning like who's a good friend or what's a friend. Like, and I tell her, how is this person? Are they nice to you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, are they always nice or are they sometimes mean, sometimes not? She goes, well, sometimes this person's nice, sometimes. Well, I'm like, okay, so there's no consistency. But then
Right.
there's some people who are consistently kind and they both have a great time together. And I'm like, okay, so is she your friend? And she's like, yeah, she's a really good friend. And I'm like, okay. And I tell her, you don't have to be friends with everybody,
Right.
right?
Right.
I would tell her as an adult, you're lucky if you have 5 friends, like real friends. Like you're
Yes.
really lucky to have true blue friendships that will be there for you thick and thin through your ups and downs. No judgment, no competition. Want the best for you,
Want
right?
the best for you, yeah. And that's
Mhm.
a big thing to really pay attention to, is who wants the best for me, right? Like I want the best for them, and
Yeah.
that's also a way to gauge where where in the category to. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like a prize someone gets for, like, where do I put them? I put them here, or it's just, it's being realistic about our expectations, and
Yes.
so I do love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, and I love that you're having those conversations with your daughter at this young
Yeah.
age, because it's, yeah, it's something we have to learn, right?
It's something we have to learn to be able to discern, to be able to use our intuition, and you're right to manage expectations.
Yeah. And so I did want to, yeah, manage expectations for sure. That's a big one. Do want to talk about the feeling of isolation at this
Sure.
juncture, at where we are in our society, right? So
Yeah.
studies are showing that that is now becoming a huge mental health crisis.
Yeah.
Isolation, feeling isolated and lonely, right? So,
Yep.
and I do see that. And I also feel the irony in that too, because with social media, with the internet, we are so vastly connected, right? We can shoot a text, we can shoot a message across the world to our friends who live in, I don't know, the UK or something or whatever. Or I can call you on FaceTime and you're all the way in Washington, D.C., and I'm in Los Angeles, and we can stay connected and with all those different technologies and things like that. So, in your opinion, why do you feel like this is still a huge problem and a disconnect?
I mean, honestly, because there's so many technological avenues to communicate, I feel like that creates a disconnect where we're not able to completely open up. People aren't going to meet up with friends for coffee. People are not leaving their house. Like you see kids are in their the iPad generation, they're on the phone, they're on the computer, they're on all these devices, screens. Even adults are on their screens. You walk by and almost everyone even walking is on their phone,
Yes.
right? Like anywhere you go, it's hard to even strike up a normal conversation at like, if you're waiting in line somewhere or if you're, just passing by, everyone's so engulfed into this social world of where they feel connection, where they get the dopamine rush, where they feel, well, this is my connection. I'm like looking at my influencer, or I'm reading the comments, or I'm, I don't know, texting someone, so I'm connecting, right?
Right.
But we're missing that human element. We're missing the ability to look at someone in their eyes and sit, by the fire and talk about the day, or we're missing that community element, the
Yes.
personal, in person community element. We don't live like we used to 50 years ago.
Right. And I do feel like the community element is so important, right? And we
It
are
is.
missing that. And this is, and even with this channel, that is our intention, right? This
Yeah.
to us, women's
Yeah.
wellness is about building community. It's about
Hmm.
sharing. It's about educating. It's about holding hands together, elevating one
Hmm.
another, and holding space. And so we are transitioning to a more in-person, and I love that we're exploring those options, like we're talking about having our first time retreat.
Hmm.
Okay, so women's wellness retreat, it will be the first for us, and we're really excited to bring that to our
Wow.
community. The first one will be very small, it'll be very intimate, so the spaces are very limited. And we are doing that intentionally because we do want to create this first time space to really get to know one another
Yes.
on that intimate level.
Hmm.
And the bigger goal is to expand and making it something even bigger.
Hmm.
But so look out for that.
Yes.
It's a
Tell them
plug,
where.
but I also thought it was a good time to like bring that in, because I didn't want to be a hypocrite in talking about, okay, connecting and being more like physical with one another, and then we're constantly online and having these
Right.
dialogues online, right?
Tell
So
them where it's going to be.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's going to be, well, it's going to be a surprise. I just
Oh,
want to
okay.
say that. It is going to be a surprise. It's going to be definitely a treat. So I do encourage our community to reach out as soon as possible if you want to be the first to be a part of this
Hmm.
this epic first time meetup. So we will have more details. Slowly, we'll just be unraveling more details. But I just want to say that it will be a magical place on earth.
Mm. Yes, I
I
can't
will
wait.
definitely vouch for that. So, and the hall knows.
Mhm. I won't say. I'll
Yeah,
keep it a secret, but it'll be worth it.
it'll be worth it for sure.
Hmm.
So, with that, with the isolation and knowing how that's becoming an epidemic, right? So it's becoming a problem where we are becoming more disconnected. Do you have any tips? Is there a solution that you see that you can offer?
Honestly, I think for us to be able to connect properly with people, we have to learn to connect with ourselves first. And a lot of that means disconnecting from the tools that distract us. Getting out in nature, putting your hands in dirt if you want to garden, taking walks, getting in the ocean, getting in the lake, connecting with yourself, connecting with nature, and being able to know what presence is. And
Wow.
then being able to do that with others.
I love that so much. That is, it's very true. I mean, we have our wellness practices that
Yes.
and I do want to share that out before we close out this episode, is because this platform is all about sharing, right? So
Hmm.
what I have, I will give to you. What you have, you give to me, and that's what
Hmm.
makes this so beautiful. Now, do you want to share some of your self care practices that
Yeah,
has been able to help you to better connect, with others?
I love that. So I have a journal, and Lucy, you are my journal expert. You really inspired me to continue writing. So journaling, I journal with my daughter too, and afterwards we'll talk about what's going on, what's bothering her. I'll look into her eyes. I'll ask her questions, just to have that connection through journaling first, and then it's like, think, pair, share in school. Like first you'll think about it, you'll write about it, and then you'll get paired up, and then you'll share, right? So
Wow.
that's a really powerful one, just
And
sharing.
she's 6 years old and she's already starting this practice. And I think, I mean, that is amazing. Kudos to you.
Got to start her young. It's something I wish that I had learned and I had
Yes.
the opportunity. But that is a big one. And then, when possible, taking a walk in nature, right? Taking a walk and just quieting down the mind, not having to grab my phone to distract myself, not having to grab something to eat, or not having to like walk out the door to go to the store to get something I don't need. Like really being present and just sticking with how I'm feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and sometimes you kind of have to be uncomfortable with yourself. I think that's like the challenge, right? So we get uncomfortable sitting in our feelings, and it's like, oh, let me just pick up my phone or like watch something on TV just to shut it down or to
Right. Yes.
distract you from it.
Yes. What about you? Tell me yours.
Yeah, so thank you for asking. Nature walks are
Mm.
my jam. I love nature walks. It opens up all of my senses, right? So not only does it help me be present, I'm focused in all the beauty around me, the trees, the flowers, and the people walking by, and then I'm noticing the sound of my walking along because where I walk, it's like a trail, so it has my partner and I walk together. It has like little. It's dirt a little bit, right? So it makes that little crunching sound. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to that, like the sound,
Oh, I
and
love
then the
that.
birds chirping, and then the smell of the flowers. And
Mhm.
the other day, I literally stopped and I said, wow, that wow, I don't know what flower it was, but it smelled so beautiful. And I stopped and I said, wow. And I just took in the aroma and I said, wow, this is what it means to stop and
Yeah,
smell the flowers, right? So,
I love that.
um, it's always such a beautiful experience for me. It calms me down, it
Hmm.
centers me, it allows me to be present, and I just like I'm able to just be at that moment. It takes me about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, but that's my time,
Wow.
where I connect with myself. Um, I love yoga. I practice yoga, and yoga is amazing.
Yes.
Just like connecting everything within my body and moving my body,
Yeah.
um, breathing, the breath work that comes with that. Um, I journal. I haven't been really good about it lately, but I've been journaling since I was a child.
Yeah.
Um, and like your daughter, I was probably like
Mhm.
maybe not as young as her, but I was pretty young. And I
Yeah.
don't know where I learned it from. I just, as a creative, as an artist, I just always felt like I needed an outlet. Like I had all these thoughts and these feelings inside, and I'm like, well, I can't always talk about it because I was always very talkative too. But then there were moments where I wanted to be alone. So when I was alone and with my thoughts, I would just write them down, and I've been doing that ever since. I've been teaching workshops around it. I wrote a whole entire book around why you should um why you should journal and how beneficial that is to you and how healing that is. It is one of the healing modalities, right? So I do that. I try to meditate. I'm not good at that. So I honestly, I do need to improve, but you
Okay.
are the meditator. You are
Yes.
the expert. So I need your tips on. So my issue is like I can do increments. Like 5 minutes, I'm okay,
Perfect.
right?
That is perfect. 5 minutes is super sufficient. And from there, you can increase, but 5 minutes a day, good job.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, even if you, I mean, it's not bad if you can do it for 5 minutes. That is actually a great practice. That is a practice,
yeah.
right? And so another thing I've also been learning a lot about mindfulness and meditation is you can also be meditating while sitting down and staring off into nature, for example, right?
Yes. 100%.
So if you're sitting on a bench at a park and you're looking at the trees and you're looking at the kids playing and just like everything else around you, um, that is also a form of meditation.
Absolutely. Or even staring at the ceiling.
Or
Sometimes
even
it's
staring at the ceiling. So
yes.
that if you're doing that, you are, my friend, meditating.
Yes. Yes.
So
I
that is
love
what I do, and that's what you do, and we just wanted to offer those self care tips and tricks
Also,
that we've learned.
there's one last thing I want to share. If you go
Yeah.
to Insight Timer,
Yes.
there's timers for meditation, but then there's also it tells you how many people are meditating at that moment that you start. So if you want that community feel to know you're meditating with people in like India or New Zealand or wherever are meditating, it shows up. But then it also has like group meditations where you can join a live and they'll have like some lessons in meditation. So it's a really great resource, and it's an app, and it's free. I have the
Yeah.
free
I
version.
have Insight Timer too. That's actually what I use. I'm glad you mentioned that. That is what I use to meditate. It's an app. It's completely free
Yes.
unless you want to buy the different programs.
Yeah.
It's so good. I've had it for a long time and it's been really helpful.
Maybe we should
Thank
start a
you.
challenge.
This has been amazing.
Yeah. We
And
should
we
start
just
a
want to
challenge.
say, I'm sorry.
We'll start a challenge, like a
Yeah,
meditation challenge soon.
yeah, definitely. It's a really good practice, and I'm glad that I'm getting better at it. Each day, I
You're perfect at it. Just
yes,
5 minutes is plenty.
it's all you need. Whatever you can do, you're doing great. So cheers to friendship wherever you are on your friendship journey. We we hope that it is a healthy relationship. It's a healthy connection, and remember to manage our expectations. And also, like Nahal had mentioned, there are categories to where we label and put our connections, and that's absolutely fine.
Totally.
And I hope you found some value out of this episode and what we had to share, what we have to share. And until the next time, we are sending you so, so much love. Until the next time, bye.
So much love.